and welcome to another episode of The Influential Nonprofit with your host, Mary Ann Dersh. If you don't know me, you should, because I work with nonprofit leaders to master the art of influence so they can raise more money without feeling rejected, ineffective, or pushy. And the art of influence is such a beautiful thing because it allows us to create win-win situations everywhere we go, easily enroll people in a vision, and create a super highway of, of, of support and connection that makes our work so much more easier and productive. Today, we're going to talk about something that I think is so important that doesn't get talked about enough. If you want to increase the quality of the conversations that you have with your donors, with your partners, with your funders, with your sponsors, with really anybody in your life, it is not what you say. It is the quality of the questions that you ask. It's not what you say. There's no elevator pitch. There's no talking point. There's no magic wand of word salad that is going to make somebody act. That is not why people make decisions. I'm going to tell you why people make decisions, and I'm going to show you how questions can move people to make decisions. It is not what you say. We have been taught you got to pitch, you got to sell, you got to convince. I hear the word pitch all the time. Stop pitching and selling. Start focusing on listening, and the quality of the questions will drive your ability to listen. And stop winging it too, because that's not helping. All right, so I'm going to go into quickly how to format a conversation. And there's 4 types of questions that you can ask, and I'm going to give you examples of each. And please come up with your own or tailor these to your organization or your specific situation. In this podcast, I'm going to focus mostly on fundraising, but this methodology works with anything or anything you want. This is how I got my husband to agree to the 2nd and 3rd floor remodel and the front yard remodel, right? This is how you can enroll anyone in a vision. And it's not by telling them or pitching them. It's by the quality of the questions that you ask. And I will never forget this conversation I had with my husband. We were out at the little bar we go to watching a game, and our house, COVID, this was like 2020, 2021. COVID did a number on our house, man. It was rough. And I accidentally raised this kid for 2 years, and the carpets were a mess, and the dogs and the teenagers and the extra teenager and the age, and it was just the things were looking dingy, and our bathroom was falling apart, and I finally just knew we needed it. And I also didn't want to try to sell him on it because he would get defensive. So I was saying to him, I could tell he was like in a relaxed mood and he's feeling good. And that's another thing we're going to talk about, because I could tell his receptivity was on. And I said, my friend Katie says she's an interior designer, and she said your house should hug you on the way in and wave goodbye to you on the way out. I said, how do you feel about that? He goes, I kind of feel the opposite. I get here and I want to leave, and I'm glad when I go. I said, I know, I feel the same way. Tell me what would be different about the house if you can make it different. And he started explaining what he wanted for the house. And I'm like, yeah, yes, the carpets need to go. That bathroom is a disaster, blah, blah, blah. And, and I said, yeah, let me just say, the carpets were getting funky, it's like, I just hate the smell and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what I'm hearing is, we want to just have something comfortable that smells nice, that's fresh and clean. And yeah, that's what I want. Okay, awesome. What do you think if we didn't do anything, what would happen? He's like, I just can't imagine us not doing anything eventually because it's gross. Okay, so he's bought in. So I'm not going to take you anymore through that conversation, but I just want to say what I realized is that this is something that he wanted. His biggest concern was how to pay for it. Is it from this pot of money, or do we get a home equity loan, or do we, oh, I said, so you're willing to do this. It's just what's concerning for you is how we, yeah. I didn't care where the money came from. I just wanted the remodel, right? But that worked. Okay. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did in that conversation and many others. And the other thing I want to say is I use this methodology every single day. I coach and train people all over the world in this, and it works. Okay. If you want to raise more money, stop pitching and selling, start asking and listening. Okay. And I just had a board that I'm training. They just got 3 new sponsorships, big ones, because they use this methodology. It works, and it's so much easier, and it's more fun, and it's so much more enjoyable. And you have real meaningful conversations. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to pretend. Nobody has to like act like they're interested and they're not, or, or trying to make something fit that's not. Okay. We get to all be who we are, and it's all okay. So let's talk about why pitching and selling doesn't work and why questions do. There's 3 things that we want to do. All right. The first is people will buy to the level they feel seen, heard, and understood. People will buy to the level they feel seen, heard, and understood. Your only job is to tap into somebody and have them feel seen, heard, and understood. That's it. That is it. Okay. Seen, heard, and understood. You don't have to pitch, sell, convince, talk about how great you are, how many people you serve, how many dogs you feed, no. Seen, heard, and understood. And because they will relax. When they relax, they're going to be open to what you have to say. But no one is going to buy if they feel misunderstood, they feel frustrated, they feel like you're not getting them. Okay. Second is when you pitch or sell, when you try to make somebody do something, what do? They get defensive right away, right? They're like, you can't make me do anything. I know you feel that way. I feel that way. So why are we pitching? Because it gets people defensive. And when they get defensive, they go into instinct brain. That's fight or flight mode. And our ability to make decisions reasonably greatly diminishes because all our bodily energy is going into the back of the base of our neck here. How do I get out of this? What are they going to ask me for? I'm not really interested. I feel uncomfortable. They're an instinct brain, and you're not going to get a decision. Number 3, people make decisions in their feelings, how they feel, not how they think. So we want to focus on the feeling. Yeah, we want to believe, oh, we're all rational. Like we look at the facts and make a decision. No, we don't. We make a decision and then we look at the facts and we find the facts that support our decision. People act from a place of feeling. Remember, it's heart, mind, wallet. There's something emotional that's calling them there. But now we're going to justify it, or use our mind, our brain power to make sure it's a good choice, and then we will invest. But it's always an emotional connection. A decision is made from an emotional connection every time. So we want to keep people in their feelings. And this is by the quality of the questions that we ask. And we're not winging it anymore. The structure of the conversation is going to go like this. You're going to show up as a leader and you are going to lead the conversation by saying, hey, it's so great to meet you. Well, can't wait to, so glad we're meeting. Can't wait to get started. Here's what I'd love to have happen. And in that, when you say, here's what I'd love to have happen, you're going to say that you want first I want to tap into you, what's going on with you. Where you're at as far as, in your life, in your world, in your giving. And once I get a handle on your situation and understand where you're at, I can share a little bit about my organization. And if there's a fit or there's some synergy there, great. If not, that's okay too. It's always good to connect. Now, this could be with somebody that you know, somebody that you don't know. Of course, if there's somebody that you know, you can say, hey, it's been a long time since we talked, or hey, I'm so glad we've gotten together. I'd love to hear what's currently up with you, right? So you might, you want to get up to date. Or if you don't know them, you're going to get to know them. But what this does is sets you up, 1, as a leader to the conversation, and 2, puts you in a position for deep listening. So 3, you can start meeting their needs. You can't meet somebody's needs until you know what they are. So if you've got, 11 ways to get involved in your nonprofit, that's great. But I don't from their perspective, they're like, but in your listening, then you can hear what they're saying and then guide them toward a choice that will work for them. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. You can go through a whole conversation, never pitch, sell, share one fact about your organization, and people will make a decision. They will make a decision. All right, let's talk about it. the questions. Here we go. I got some notes. So there's also, I use this every day myself. If anybody's had a call with me, and by the way, I invite you into a call with me. There's a link in the show notes. You can book a time with me. I can walk you through this model, or I can walk you through like maybe there's a specific scenario that you want to, that I can help you come up with some questions, or give you more, give you some wisdom, give you some reflection on how to have a conversation like this. I'm happy to do that. And just to help you tap in a little more personally to the power of these conversations. Okay, because they really work. They do. So first kind of question, vision question. You always like to start with a vision because you want to know like what people's goals are. And so a vision question, there can be two kinds of vision question. One is a pain and one is a gain. So pain is something they want to stop or relieve in their life, in the world, in anything, or a gain is something they want to get or give or create. Okay. And either one is fine, but these are vision questions. So vision questions are, what are you looking for in your philanthropy over the next year? What would be, your ideal outcome in this, like in like whatever issue, in this disease, in this situation? Um, Share with me, like, what are you most passionate about? Um, if you could change the world, how would you do it? Um, what actions or what changes do you believe would make the world a better place? What legacy do you want to leave? What would you want to pass on to your future generations? What wouldn't you want to pass on? What makes you angry about the world right now or our community right now? What makes you hopeful? So they're going to uncover a gain or a pain. A gain is something they want to create. A pain is something they want to stop. So I can use like animal welfare because I'm in animal welfare, I volunteer. So a pain, a gain, I want to be like, I want, to be able to, serve, more animals or care for more animals. Or a pain, I want to stop pet overpopulation. I want to stop animal abuse. It's horrific, the conditions that these dogs come into the shelter at. And that's a huge pain for me, and I want that to stop. Okay. See, so I'm not pitching, selling, nothing. I'm just getting a vision. What do they want? And this could be, like I said, for their life. Like, oh, my vision is I want to, I'm going to move abroad in the next 2 years. Oh, okay. It's not, don't worry about how this relates to your organization. Don't worry about anything. Just listen. See, hear, validate. That's it. If your brain goes to, oh, how can I work this in a gift? Pull it right back. Nope. Nope. If you use this methodology, you don't have to worry about that because you're going to figure it out by keep asking the questions. Okay. Once you have the vision, and you can think of more of your own vision questions. Like, again, if you want to book a time with me to talk about it, hey, I'm floating these questions around, great. But I have a script. Okay. I have a script. Every call I use, I have the script. Have a script. You're not gonna like whip it out at coffee, but it's just important for you, for your mindset, to have a plan for how you want the conversation to go. Um, and it doesn't have to match this exactly. As long as it hits these points, you're good. So vision, two, gap. So the question is, here's the vision, okay? So here's the vision, and then now here's where we're at. What's the gap? Like, what is the gap? So what is the challenge that, what do you think the biggest challenge are we facing? What struggles or obstacles do you feel like are in the way of getting to your vision or getting to this vision? If, that they have, like, so the vision they have for, homelessness in your community, or for, adult opportunities for adults and with disabilities. What is their vision? What do you think the obstacles are to overcome? So let's work with adults with disabilities. Oh my gosh, I would love for, I just, I'm so passionate about this, and I love when I see, like, when I run into people with disabilities and they're working in the grocery store, or and I'm so proud of our organization for putting people to work like this. Okay, so what's the biggest obstacle? Well, there's just not enough companies that are willing to do this because because I really see it as a misunderstanding of what people with disabilities, adults with disabilities, are capable of doing. That's a big obstacle. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get, I feel that too. Yes, that. So what I'm hearing is, you love this and you're so passionate about it and you wish more companies would be willing to do that. Yeah, yeah, okay. So now I understand the gap. And the gap is like, what do we, you know, what change do you believe would make to overcome this gap? Um, what, hold on. Let me make sure I got all my questions. What do you think is in the way? What's stopping you? What's stopping us? Okay, see, I just want to get to what the barrier is, what they see as the barrier. That's it. It does nothing to do with our organization, what we're actually doing, with what do they see as the barrier. All right, now it's the cost. Okay, what is the cost of not solving this? What do you see? And you could say, okay, so I understand your vision. I understand where you see the barriers, and the gap and where we're at, where we want to be. What do you feel like what would happen if we didn't solve this? Um, so in animal rescue, and I would say something like, well, we would just have more abandoned, abused dogs. And I just hate that. I hate that for them. I hate that for our community. I know everyone's so overworked and so overstaffed, and that's the overpopulation is when overpopulation means that we will have animals that are hurting and have horrible lives. Okay, so that's the cost. To me, about animal welfare. Let's do adults with disabilities. What would be the cost? Well, the cost could be that, people don't get to live as productive of a life. The cost could be um, you know, taxpayer, people are going to not be able to make an income. So there'll be maybe more of a responsibility of the state, and it'll be like a tax burden, a cost to the society. Um, there could be, maybe they see the cost as people's not living fulfilled lives, employers not being able to, I'm brainstorming this, employers not being able to fill jobs that are needed to be filled, that maybe like, a more typical worker wouldn't want to do, that maybe an adult with a disability would love to do. And maybe there's a cost, societal cost. So whatever they say, that's the cost to them, and that is fine. So I'm getting the vision, the gap, and the cost. Okay, now this is when you're going to start to pull it back into your organization. The next set of questions are called qualifying questions. And remember, let me go back. It's like, what do you feel like? So I have to roll tape, but hopefully I said, what do you feel is the best? What do you feel would help us most? What do you feel would close the gap? Not what do you think, what do you feel? I want to keep people in their feelings. We make decisions from feeling, not thinking. All right. Now the qualifying questions where I can sort of bring this back into my organization. So, if now they may not know a lot about your organization, and in which case you can modify the questions to reflect that. From what you know about ABC or nonprofit, how do you feel like we could really help? Or if you could create a nonprofit, what would you want it to do? If you could be CEO of this organization for a day, what would you change first, or what would you implement first? Um, um, from what you know about our organization, what could we do better to create the change that you want to see? Do you know other organizations who are also doing this? What are they doing about it? How do you feel about their efforts? So what I'm doing now is bringing that vision, the gap, and the cost into exactly what we do. All right. So let's go back to adults with disabilities and animal welfare. Adults with disabilities, so what do you think, how do you feel like we could do a better job of putting more people in place? Well, I'd love to expand the program. I'm making this up, okay? As a business owner in the community, I really understand the needs of other business owners, and I think it would be really important for us to educate them on the benefit of this so we could and that's if I could make us do something better, I would definitely up our education. Okay, let's do animal welfare. Well, I would really want to create a stronger foster parent program. I was a foster parent for 25 years, and I can't right now because my dogs are very high maintenance at this moment, and so I can't have new animals in my house for a little while, and it really breaks my heart because I know how much that's needed. So, one of the things I think we could do maybe is expand the foster parent program, and maybe there's something in my experience that I could maybe contribute to the expansion of that program. Okay, so now I'm telling you exactly how I would solve this problem. So now you don't have to pitch me, sell me, tell me how many dogs you fed, tell me how many tax dollars you saved. They're telling you that in these models, I'm telling you exactly how I would solve this problem. So now, once you get through those four stages of questions, you're back to validate. So what I hear you say is, your vision would be that all animals are safe and loved, which that's my vision too. And I really hear the pain in your voice when you're talking about the ones that aren't loved, and I feel your commitment to the cause. It comes through, and I share your vision. um and I also can feel the pain when you're talking about the gap, that we don't have enough shelter space, that we don't have enough foster parents. And that one thing that you would do is to strengthen the foster parent program. Is that did I get is that Yeah, yep, that's exactly right. So I'm validating. I'm saying, here's what I heard you say. And then I would do that for the adults with disabilities program. So what I'm saying is that we would love for this to grow if we could, create more understanding and help employers understand how valuable this is, or to connect with more employers who already know that. That would be great. Yeah, I would love that. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now they're relaxed, they're invested, they're right there. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. You mentioned something really important, and that is the expansion of our foster parent program. And that is something that we are committed to. And there's two ways we're really doing it. And I'd love to share those with you right now if that's okay. All right. So, or you could say, what I hear for you. And we have a program, and I would love to share this with you. Because I think it might meet, I think it might be doing what you want it to be doing, which is educating business owners. Would it be okay if I shared a little bit of that with you? Yes. Okay. I could have had 15 other things I wanted to talk about, but it wasn't relevant to them. But I'm going to hone in on exactly what. So I feel an opportunity with this person. Now, I'm going to tell you two things that in both those scenarios, these people want to give input. What he's telling you is like, I would love to educate business owners. So when we give people opportunities for contribution, growth, and connection, they're more invested, and they will be more likely to invest. So by tapping into him as a resource, right? Because now you're thinking, wait, but hold on, I'm supposed to ask them for money. Okay, yes, but I would love for you to maybe join this committee or come with me to the Rotary and talk about that. Would that be something you'd be willing to do? Because this could really help us. Yes, I would love to do that. Thank you so much. Okay, so you could either end it there and say, why don't we talk again? And you could just, depending on how well you know them, it may not be time to ask. In fact, I don't think that was that time to ask. It's a little bit intuitive. And then you do the Rotary thing or whatever you did. And then from that place, like, wow, that went really well. I'd love to do this more often. And, would you be considering making an investment so we could grow this program and do that more often? Right. That may be a second conversation, or it could fit into the first conversation, depending on their responses. The thing you don't want to do is rush people. This is a slow play. The more people have decision-making power, the more likely they are to decide what you want. So I only go as far as they're willing to decide what I want. And if I know I'm going to ask something and I don't know what the answer would be, I'm not ready to ask it. I need more information. So in that sense, there may be something that I want them to do, like come to this Rotary meeting with me, or meet with this chamber with me, or meet this person with me. Would you be like, so that I can get some more information, so I understand more about where they're at, so I know the answer to the question that I'm going to ask. Or they may be like this. I would love to, well, you know what? I want to share with you. I'm going back to animal rescue. I want to share with you, we're expanding our foster care program and we're expanding the staffing. And I don't know if you know this, but we're in the middle of a capital campaign. We're building a new building in order to expand our fostering program. I would love to share with you what that looks like. And actually, we have a foster committee. I'm wondering if you might want to join that, so that you can see where the money's going, the money in action. And then if you're interested, you might want to contribute yourself. Would that be something you're willing to talk about? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I've been thinking about the capital campaign for a long time. I've been scoping it on your website. I'd love to talk about that. Okay, so what did I just tell you? I told you I'm ready to give her. Oh, okay. Well, why don't we do that right now? Do you have a little extra time? I can walk you through a couple things, or if not, let's just schedule another call and I can do that then. Well, I'm a little bit out of time, but I am super interested. Great, let's put something on the calendar. Let's meet a week from now. Okay, now there's a lot more that can go into that, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down here. If you notice in this conversation, I didn't pitch, sell anything. I just validated, reflected, and moved them on to where I could see that how we could help them fulfill a piece of their vision, of their vision. It's there. There'll be plenty of time for details, but now they can see their vision being realized through your organization, not because of, but through, and it's because of the quality of the questions, not your pitch, not your stats. Yes, there will become a time and they will ask for that. So tell me, like, how many people does this serve? How many more will this grow by? Tell me, and then you can answer those questions. But I'm telling you, it is about the quality of the questions, not about what you say. And so remember, you want the vision, the gap, the cost, and the qualification, the qualifiers. Like, how is your organization suited to help them close the gap and meet their vision and alleviate that cost? That's it. And it's all about them, not you. All right, now go off, try this, do it, play with it. I would come up with a script. And please feel free to reach out to me if you will walk through your script, walk through your questions. Again, courageous communication /connect, or you can just go to the show notes and grab it, book a time with me. I can walk you through it. And if you want to talk about what it's like to work with me or really master this, because I'm just giving you the tip of a very big iceberg, and this takes practice and work. And if you really want to learn this deeply and embody it and master it, I can do that for you too. And that's it for this episode of The Influential Nonprofit. I'll see you next time.